Hey, earlier I was thinking that this might be an important thing to share, and it is the fact that while you watch my readings and you hear me tell you this formula for healing, and I say acknowledge, validate, accept, and be present with, and I present those steps in order to get free from, stuff that has emotion anchored in. And to me, the reason why I kind of focus in on that method is because it sort of assures that you don't bypass any of the things that I've learned are important not to bypass throughout the whole process, right? But here's why I know that. It's because not all of my healing was done with that method. And I thought it would be important to share that because I feel like it's probably true for everybody that that method won't work for everything. And it won't work for everyone. And for me, when I came to that method, I just kind of realized, okay, well, this method assures that I don't bypass anything, so I'm going to stick with this for a while. But before that, there were many, many different modalities that I used along the way. Different tools, different experiments, and different things worked for different things as well. And different things worked for a certain period of time before I was kind of pushed to find something else for myself. And that process usually looked like, oh, well, this isn't working for me, and me asking the question, ask and you shall receive, and me asking the question, well, what can I do about this? And then me being shown or led to information, or some sort of topic pops in and I'm curious about it, so I do some research, or somebody comes in front of me with some sort of information that I'd never seen or heard about before, and it spurs me into some research and then experimentation. And then, if things were, if it was possible for me to experiment with something and it seemed feasible to me, then I did it. So over the years, I just wanted to really, I wanted to make clear and share that it's totally appropriate to use other methods other than the one that I present in the readings so often. And the reason that I offer that method in the readings is because it can be offered in readings, right? And to me, when I do readings, I don't care for fluff, I don't care for like stuff that doesn't matter so much, or like, what's the point of knowing about something if you don't do anything about it, kind of thing. You know what I mean? Like, some things are just to know, but most things that we end up talking about in the readings that I do are for the purpose of, alleviating some limitation or discomfort or whatever, or illuminating into something or spurring some sort of movement. So because my readings, I have the intention set to focus on growth, learning, and healing kind of stuff, so that's what my readings do. But it is really important to know that if you have something and it's not working for you, that thing, there are lots and lots and lots of other things. And you have probably seen, if you've been watching for years, you've probably seen me experiment in different ways. And after getting the reading that I got from, it wasn't a reading, it was a healing session that I got based on the emotional code. I got spurred into this idea of kind of combining a couple of things again and doing it a different way. And so there may be some of that in the future where I sort of experiment. And when it is an experiment, I will label it as such, and hope for some feedback, It's because I know if something works for me, and I know if it matches the concepts and the laws of the universe, then it'll probably work for other people too. But sometimes what I'm out of touch with at this stage is the sort of like things that stand in the way of getting you to the place where you'd want to try it. You know what I mean? Like, hopefully that's already out of the way. Hopefully when you come to my readings, you actually do want to do the work. and you're ready for it and you're ready to dig in and you're not scared of being humbled. You're not afraid of being triggered, and you know what to do when you are, and you're fully taking responsibility for yourself, because those are the things that get us through all of it. So other modalities, I used to have a website where I've just shared modalities. And I was wondering, is that website still up, I wonder? I don't know. I doubt it. So long ago now. But I would just like list them all and give resources and where you could find out more about each one. So maybe I'll just like list a few off. You know, we've talked a little bit about quantum healing in that book, Quantum Touch or Human Touch. Is a good resource for that. There's energy medicine, and so when I say this, I don't just mean Reiki, and Reiki's getting more and more common these days, so it's a good introduction to the concept. But there's, you know, higher level energy healing work that you can participate in. And, you know, you just got to do what makes sense for you. But like for me, I would go with the quantum all day, every day over Reiki, because that just makes more sense to me. And besides the quantum healing, energy healing type stuff, you've got tapping, you know, just like moving energy through the meridians in your body. By tapping the meridian, it gets the energy to move. And this can be very important for releasing and moving stuck energy. And this is something that you'd want to do in conjunction with changing your mind about something. And the other thing is, you cannot change a belief without syncing both sides of your brain. So there's these like crisscross patterns. And this is where that infinity symbol can come in really handy, right? If you trace the meridians of your body in this infinity pattern, you're linking both sides of your body. The other thing you can do is like crisscross, like knee lifts, you know, lift your knee and touch it with the opposite hand. Like, or you can do it on your shoulders. You just keep doing that to get these hemispheres of your brain linked, and before you do the energy work and before you do kind of the changing your mind about things. You know, just setting your intention is really powerful and strong. But in conjunction with moving the energy through the meridians in your body, it's much more powerful. Let's see. I know there's some other ones, and as soon as I stop talking about this and stop recording, I'll probably think of them all. Come on, tell me the other ones. So there's energy psychology. Oh, when your brain is in the theta phase right before you go to sleep at night, and if you put a program into your mind during the theta phase, it will take it right into your subconscious. Visualization is another way that you can talk to your cells in your body and your energy in order to change it. Another thing is, there's a way to tell your subconscious a story that it wants to buy into and get all the parts of your subconscious on board with what the overall goal is, by meeting the needs of each subconscious part of you that doesn't get on board when you ask it to, and conversing with each of those parts, right? Like, that was a fascinating one that I came across, and I forget what it was called, but it's literally a book written by a man, and the story, just reading the story helps you heal, because it lets your subconscious know what your intentions are, and your subconscious gets on board, and any parts of your subconscious that don't get on board, you directly deal with. Because really, you know, we would line up with what we want with just the intention if we didn't have resistance in our programming, right? So what's happening is there's wars in our programming where there's conflicting things, and it's like, well, which is stronger, right? And and usually what's stronger is what you put focus on. What else? No changing beliefs. Timeline jumping. Excuse me, I tend to think that might be what you're doing when you focus in a certain way. All right, nothing else is coming to my mind readily, but it's worth looking into other methods if you need them, you know? Essentially, what needs to happen for healing to happen is you have to clear up a misunderstanding. Uh, Something that needs to be healed is just something that's misunderstood. Like you don't yet know what you needed to know about it. You don't yet understand what you needed to understand about it. There's something clogging it up. There's some reason why it's not flowing, right? You've grabbed onto something that takes you out of the flow, that interrupts the flow of energy. And when you balance that out and the energy can flow again, now you're back in the stream. And this is where you're at when you lose track of time. So, I mean, it can be a job that could take you out, you know, take you out of the flow. A job that you hate, that could definitely take you out. But if you're doing something that you lose track of time while you're doing it, that's a really great thing for you to do. Because it allows you to be in the flow state. Okay. Is that all? Yeah, that's all. So as I get closer to the time where I'm going to be making my candles and I kind of think about more and more the intentions I'm going to set, I've purchased some like certain crystals to go in them and certain charms to go in them. And I'm kind of getting excited for the candles because I just feel like it will implement more ritual into my life. And because of the way I live, it's sort of like a walking meditation. I made my life a walking meditation. So I don't really have a lot of ritual. In fact, I really like I get the feeling of freedom by being like really free with my routines, you know? I don't have that many routines. I shake it up a lot. I take different routes when I'm driving some places. I don't do the same thing a lot. The biggest routines that I fall into in my life are eating the same meal over and over again. That's something I'll do. What else? Trying to think of any other routines I have in my life, and honestly, it might be a little bit of a hindrance at this stage. I'm just like, I love freedom, you know, so I don't like to be pinned down very much. But of course, there are times that I need to be, right? Like when I have responsibilities, when I have commitments, you know, I honor them. So that is a priority for me to do. But when I don't have them, I like to be free. But I feel like the candles will implement a little bit more ritual, and I think there is something to be said for that, right? When we're on the spiritual path, and I think there's something about it where it provides some sort of stability and like solid foundation kind of stuff, which is important. So, and it's like, you know, there is something to where our ancestors used to like make altars and have offerings for the whatever they were praying to, you know? Like lighting a candle is like that. It's like an offering. It's like a way to honor those that came before us and those that are unseen and other versions of ourselves and our intentions being honored by the universe and things like that. So, and I think those are really important things, you know? Like that's all part of life. So, what other healing modalities have you found useful for you? Are there any that you'd like to share? Maybe that I haven't mentioned, or some that you've tried that I have mentioned and that you care to discuss further. I'd love to be reminded of any that I'm not currently aware of and that I might want to check out again. Not because I'm like in some sort of crisis or anything, but just because I'm always curious. You know, I like that I have a full toolbox, because when it comes to others, you know, who ask me for assistance, I can offer, you know, what intuitively feels like the appropriate thing for them. Oh, yeah, soul retrieval was another one, another method, and I know that I mentioned that to you guys here on this channel if you've been watching, because I mentioned that there was no emotion tied to the thing that I was trying to heal, and so I couldn't access it to be present with it, and so I did the soul retrieval, and that actually set me into a healing crisis, and that meant some old injuries flared up, and some energy was released from the scar tissue, and now I'm, you know, totally fine. I knew that's what was happening when it happened. Well, at first I wasn't sure, and I kind of checked in with my oracle, and I was confirmed that that everything was fine. There's nothing for me to heal there, that I had already done it. So moved through that, and now as I start doing this juice fasting, and went through like that bout of like a bit of anger yesterday, I'm reminded that like in all these cells, the stagnant cells, which fat cells have been holding on to toxins in my body, and those are stagnant kind of energies, right? So these have energy that's going to be released, and some of them, you know, might be things that aren't bothering me as I walk around holding the baggage of it, but I will have to go through. So that's kind of, you know, exciting, to be honest. And I don't think it's scary at all for me because I have a full toolbox, you know. But it will also maybe give me an opportunity to try out some of those older modalities that I hadn't touched in a while. So I'm excited for that, you know, because, you know, there comes a time where like I want to experiment with other things. I do like venturing into new territory. And if I don't have anything to heal left in me, then what am I going to try it out on, you know? So it's kind of beautiful that like right now I'm kind of thinking of how divine the universe is to like put me in the position of totally like peaceful and calm, right, on a day-to-day basis, but then still have some stuff to go through from that calm space and with the wisdom that I've gained, so that I can experiment around with different methods of healing on the stuff that I have to shed from my body that's stored in my body. And I think it's just genius. God is a genius. And I love that. So yeah, that's where we are at. Anything else? Anything else? Yep, we're just going to keep doing this, and maybe I'll report in when I do have something interesting to share about whatever I'm experimenting with in the future or as we go. Okay? Okay. See you then.